Hey guys, in today's video, I'm super excited to introduce a new word puzzle game that I've been helping to develop. Now, as some of you already know, besides being a Scrabble content creator, I also help create crossword puzzles for a really fun monthly crossword contest called the Muller Monthly Music Meta. I made a video on these meta crosswords a while ago. I'll link it in the description. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And while you're at it, also check out this month's Muller Monthly Music Meta puzzle. It's really fun and it's actually live right now. But the new game that I'm working with the same team to develop is called Think Twice. Now, Think Twice was directly inspired by the daily New York Times letterboxed puzzle, so if any of you guys are familiar with that, then the rules of Think Twice are going to make a lot of sense. But basically, the way Think Twice works is you're given 12 distinct letters arranged on 4 sides of a square grid, as you guys can see over here. So you've got 3 letters on the different sides. For this puzzle on the screen, you've got PLN on the top, RHM on the right, KOS on the bottom, and ATY on the left. And just like with the New York Times letterboxed, your goal is going to be to form a sequence of words that uses all of these letters at least once. But here's the big difference, guys. With New York Times letterboxed, even though it's theoretically possible to solve all of them with just a 2-word sequence, you're usually allowed 4 and sometimes even 5 words to make this sequence. Where Think Twice gets significantly harder is you have to use only 2 words, and that is why it is named Think Twice specifically. And that pair of words has to satisfy 3 specific conditions. Condition number 1 is that all words have to be valid in the NWL23 Scrabble dictionary and at least 3 letters long. If I try to enter a word that's too short, like TO, it's going to tell me I need at least 3 letters. And let's say I come up with something that's not a word, I'll just put in some sort of ridiculousness right here, then it's going to tell me it's not in the word list. Condition number 2 is neither word can use consecutive letters from the same side of the grid, which includes using the same letter twice in a row. So for instance, a word that you would not be allowed to make with this grid is plant, because the P and the L are on the same side of the grid. So if I try to do this, the app is going to tell me no 2 same side picks in a row, and it's not going to let me follow the P with the L. So then if I hit the restart button here, another word I could not do is hoop, because that also uses 2 letters from the same side of the grid, specifically 2 O's in a row, and again, it's going to tell me no 2 same side picks in a row. So that is condition number 2. Condition number 3 is that the first letter of the second word in my 2-word sequence has to be the last letter of the first word. So for instance, let's say the first word I made was sharp. Then that means my second word would have to start with a P. So I could do something like pots. Now, this is not going to be a successful sequence because I didn't use all of the letters, right? As you guys can see, the L, the N, the Y, the M, and the K are still unused. So these words both meet the criteria, but they do not solve the puzzle because I haven't used all of the letters. So it's going to tell me I have to try again, so I'm going to restart the puzzle one more time. Now, let me preface the rest of the video by saying this is hard. It's not easy, guys, to solve this puzzle with only 2 words. And again, that is why Think Twice is so much harder and, in our opinion, more fun than the New York Times letterboxed. It really isn't that hard to do this in 4 words, but doing it in 2 words is really difficult. And that's why we've added a hints feature to Think Twice. Now, you're going to get the most points if you solve this puzzle without using a hint. But if you're stuck, then you can click this hints button right here. And you're going to get a bunch of different kinds of hints that you can use. The most fun one, and the one that we come up with every day, is the cryptic hint. So if I click the cryptic hint, it's going to say, I don't mind February, March, and April, but May and June really glimmer and glisten. So this is kind of a subtle clue to what the answer is going to be. So let's think about this. February, March, and April, May and June. What are these? They're all months. So maybe that's telling me that months is one of my 2 words. So let's put in months and then think about what I'm left with, right? So I know my second word has to start with an S, and I'm left with P-L-A-R-Y-K. Let's think about the rest of the cryptic clue. Usually, every aspect of the cryptic clue is going to be relevant in some way. Really glimmer and glisten. What words that have P's and K's and L's remind you of glimmer and glisten? How about sparkle? And in this case, maybe sparkly, right? Because I have a Y. So I can't do sparkle, but I can actually do sparkly. if you guys see this here, it doesn't use any consecutive letters from the same side of the grid, so that is valid, and now it's going to tell me I solved the puzzle with the official solution. Now, it's important to note, this is not necessarily the only solution, and in this case, this was also the same solution that the New York Times had for this grid. It's worth mentioning, guys, for now, Think Twice is just using the same grids as New York Times on a daily basis. Hopefully soon, we're going to add our own grids. That'll be in the Think Twice section right here. You'll see I have it on New York Times. So this was actually yesterday's New York Times puzzle, which I'm using for this video. Soon, we're going to have our own letters, which I'm really excited about, hopefully within the next week or two. If you guys want to know when we have our own letters, then sign up for our mailing list. You can do that by clicking this Get Notified tab on the left-hand side of the screen, and we will send you an email as soon as the Think Twice letters, where we'll have custom puzzles hand-built by our team every single day, which is going to be super awesome. But like I said, for now, we are doing the New York Times grids, just requiring that they be solved in 2 words as opposed to 4 or 5 words. Now, you'll see that I got 90 points here. It shows me on the bottom right. That is not a perfect score. In fact, a perfect score is actually 105, which I'll be explaining in just a minute. If you solve the official solution with no hints, you get 100, but I lost 10 points for using this cryptic hint. Now, I'll show you guys a couple other hints that you can use if the cryptic hint isn't enough. You can do bridge letter, so that's going to show me, if I scroll down a little bit, the letter that ends the first word and, by definition, also starts the second word. So here, of course, it's an S because months sparkly. The other hints, I think, are fairly self-explanatory as well. Word length is going to show me the first word is 6 letters long, the second word is 7 letters long, and then I can also get the first letter of the first word as well as the last letter of the last word. Each hint I use is going to reduce my score. So the fewer hints you can solve this in, the better. Now, like I said, you can score 105, and the way you do that is if you find an alternate solution. So if you find a solution that is not the official one that we are using for our puzzle. And in this case, there are actually a number of solutions besides months sparkly. Probably the easiest one to get here would be phantoms sparkly, which I will enter right now. It's worth mentioning, guys, that an alternate solution counts as an alternate as long as at least one of the 2 words is different. So I've used the same word sparkly here from the official solution, but because phantoms is different than months, this still counts as an alternate solution. Now, my score is going to remain 90 here, because once you submit an answer, based on what hints you've used and what that answer is, your score is locked. So I'm not going to get the 105 just because I now found an alternate solution, as this screen is explaining to me here. What I'm going to do now is restart the puzzle and open it in a different browser so I can show you guys how I would get 105 points. So here I've restarted the puzzle. You can see it's showing the 100 on the bottom right, which again is going to be the total score I get if I solve the official solution with no hints. But if I put in Phantom Sparkly right off the bat without using a hint, then I am going to get 105 points. It's going to tell me, congrats, I found an alternate solution, and my final score is 105. Now, another fun thing, guys, about signing up for our email list is you can get a shout out in our daily emails if you find an alternate solution. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enter a screen name, and I'm going to use the one I've been using as I've been solving these puzzles. And then when I hit submit, that means that when the next day's email comes out, it's going to list a summary of all of the alternate solutions and who found them. Now, the catch is it's only going to list the first 3 people who find any given alternate solution. So as this puzzle hopefully grows, the earlier you can solve it and the more unique of an alternate solution you can find, the better. Now, I'm going to show a really, really cool alternate solution I found for this puzzle. Ironically, this was actually the first answer I saw, and sometimes this happens to me. I didn't even see months sparkly initially, but I saw this rather absurd solution of polyoma followed by ostrakhan, which uses 2 extremely obscure and uncommon words even by Scrabble standards, and I certainly got myself a nice shout out in the next day's email for this rather difficult alternate solution. Now, this was yesterday's puzzle, guys. That's why I'm showing you all the answers, since it's not really a spoiler since the puzzle has already happened. Today's puzzle uses, of course, different letters. These are the letters for today's puzzle. I've already solved this puzzle. I'm not going to be spoiling the answers here, but I can say it's a really fun one, and there are a lot of alternate solutions. I already found about 8 alternates myself this morning when I was solving the puzzle, so there are probably even more to be had. So if you guys want to get on it, then please go ahead, and I'd love to see many of you in the shout-out section of tomorrow's Daily Think Twice email. Now, before I close out this video, guys, I do want to mention that Think Twice is still in beta, so there may be a couple bugs here and there that we still have to iron out, especially as we, like I said before, hopefully launch our own letters within the next week or two. If you guys are playing the puzzle and you encounter anything that looks like a bug, or you have any feedback and suggestions, it's absolutely welcome. Either let me know in the comments, or I'll post the link to our Think Twice email in the description of this video. Feel free to send us a note, and we will do our best to implement any and all suggestions you have. So thank you in advance for all of your feedback as we help improve this, hopefully, really fun game. So that's a wrap for this one, guys. I'll post a link in the description of this video to the website where you can play Think Twice and sign up for our daily emails. I hope you all enjoy playing, and hope to see many of you in our daily email shoutouts finding really cool alternate answers. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or comment or subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Please go check out Think Twice. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon for the next video. Bye-bye.